Citizens Advisory Committee. And I'd like to call.
Oh, Marianne, what did you?
Sorry, housekeeping item. You have to push the button now to speak, to be captured by the microphone. There's a button you have to hold down while you're speaking.
Can you hear me now? Okay. Do we keep our finger on the button?
While you're talking.
While you talk. So we're now at 1:31, starting our CDBG Citizen Advisory Committee, July 19th, and it's 2023. Call this meeting to order like a roll call, and let's start down here at the end. Your name?
Jenny Evans.
Debbie Savoini. Deborah Miller.
Marion Settles.
Sandy Griffiths.
John Roach is excused.
Your finger on the,
Tom Benson.
and then, good,
So,
not now.
Mike, you're ready for discussion and action items.
First up is the minutes from May 17th was our last CAC meeting, so it's been a while. But on page, I think it starts on page 4 to 5 are the minutes from the May 17th CAC meeting.
Take a minute and peruse these. Then I would ask for a motion.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the May 17th, 2023 Citizens Advisory Committee meeting.
I need a second.
I'll second that.
It's been seconded by Debbie Savoini. All those in favor, say yes or
Yes.
Yes.
motion passed. That takes care of the minute. So, Mike, you want to go on to B?
Yes.
Thank
I'm
you.
up. Okay. Let's see. Discussion and possible action regarding the Prescott Cares program. First up, thanks for. Yes.
Oh, sorry. How are you?
Good to see you.
You have the key to this one, Chelsea?
Oh, I don't. Thanks for coming out. It's been, a bit. May 17th was our last CAC meeting. And then after that, on May 23rd, we did meet with the council regarding our annual action plan, which they approved, and for program year 2023. And also they approved our substantial amendment to the consolidated plan. And that's what we're really talking about today is that now that we have the substantial amendment approved, we can do more with our Prescott Cares money. So just going to be covering that. I'm hoping that this will be a fairly short meeting, but it needs to happen. So, all right. Okay, we've approved the minutes. Discussion, possible action, presentation on the minor home repair is another item today that was requested in our May 17th meeting. Sherry Heine is here to discuss the minor hair repair program if there are any questions, and then a staff report. Background on Prescott Cares. This is our COVID money. Right now, the remaining balance is, as you can see up there, $258,964.44 is passed through City Council. And what we're discussing on and possibly moving on is we never voted on the two applicants that came forward back in March, which was Polaris Health project and also the U.S. Vets project. So that's what we'll be discussing, and that's what we'll be hopefully voting on today, is to move forward with those projects. As you can see, $50,000 for the Polaris Health project was part of their application, and the U.S. Vets was the $117,924.74. That leaves a remainder for the existing Prescott Cares program of $91,000, a little bit over $91,000. Again, that Prescott Cares program is what has been what has existed since the beginning of this thing. I gave you some handouts. If you, I emailed it to you yesterday as well. This handout right here. What I did was just take the narrative summary from the application of both Polera Health and US Vets to just kind of a refresher what those projects were. If you have a chance, I'll give you just a minute or two to cruise through those if you haven't done so already. And then on the second page, you'll see that spreadsheet. That was our scoring sheet, which we've already, taken care of the majority of it. What's highlighted is, specifically the Prescott Cares and US Vets. I'll give you just a minute to look over there. Any questions, feel free to ask. We do have Polera Health here today. Carol Benedict couldn't make it with US Vets, but I did talk with her.
Okay, John, I have a question. The reason that didn't get voted that time, I'm going to look at the US Vets. It was difficult for them to separate Prescott Cares and CDBG. That's been done?
That's correct, Madam Chair. The whole process of doing this substantial amendment, which the City Council did approve on May 23rd, was to allow us not only to do basic needs project, which we were doing with the Chamber, but also infrastructure projects, emergency and transitional shelter projects. It really just kind of checked all the boxes.
Sandy, you have a question?
I do. Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. McGinnis, at the beginning of your discussion for item B, you made reference that there was $258,964.
That's correct.
What is that money?
That was the existing Prescott Cares money. So that was the original amount was like $450,000 that we initially got, and the chamber was able to spend it down to that number, $250,000. I think that was $250,000. Is that right? Yeah, $258,000, $259,000. So that's what's left to spend.
Is $258,000.
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
But US Vets and Polera Health, like you just said, totaled $167,924.
That's correct.
So we have $91,000, a little over, in Prescott Cares.
That's correct.
Are we to make a decision on that $91,000 today?
Would that go? I don't think so. It's just the remaining balance that exists with Prescott Cares. If you want to have that, part of this is having an overall discussion, but really with the hope to move forward with the existing applicants, with the remaining sticking with the chamber and Prescott Cares to use it as they were using it before, and that's one of the reasons why I had Sherry here, to ask her any questions regarding that. It kind of dried up back in last fall, but we're going to reopen it to the public.
So we have in our bank account $91,000 per se.
After you approve the $50,000 for Polera and the $117 to US Vets, that would be the remainder that can be used for what it was being used for before all this.
Or we can hang on to it.
Yes, you can do that. It's up to the committee. There is an existing contract though with Prescott Cares, which awarded the full amount. So this is I'll start over a little bit. This is kind of like resetting everything. Once we do this, we want to keep Prescott Cares intact with the chamber and what Sherry Heine and the chamber were able to do. put these two projects, kind of larger projects in there. And then, we have about, once we approve that, then I got to take it back to council again with these specific projects and put them back into the annual action plan. So there's probably 2 or 3 steps, this being kind of the second step after the substantial amendment to move forward with projects. Does that make sense, or do you?
No.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah, for sure. Sorry.
So, clarify the $91,000. What is your vision for that, for those funds?
The vision for the $91,000 is to stick with Prescott Cares and what they were doing with basic needs projects. And Sherry can correct me if I'm completely off base here. There was 2 sides to this. One was for economic basic needs, and the other part was for mortgage and rental assistance. Is that on track there? Okay. Individual and business. So with this, it means opening it back up to the public, this amount for assistance. So that was the vision, keeping it with those 2 activities in mind, economic and individual. I'm thinking at this point, and could be wrong, but it'd probably be more economic benefit at this point. I don't know.
So does it have an expiration date, the $91,000?
The whole $258,000 expiration date is March of 2026. So remember there was they were telling us that we needed to expend 80% of it by March of 2024. HUD came through and said, hey, scratch that. We're just going to, spend the whole amount. There's not in 6 years, which would be March of 2026. So we got some time, but at the same time, you want to spend it.
Thank you very much for
Right.
that Wikipedia.
Thanks. No worries.
Do you have a question?
No.
Okay.
Thank you. Michael, so with that $91,000 going back to the Prescott Cares program, will Prescott Cares need some of that money that's in that $91,000 to then ramp up the public awareness for these funds? Will that come out of this, or is that already in place and going to continue? Will staffing funds be taken out of this? How is Prescott Cares going to maybe take the administrative costs if necessary or not on this?
Right. It's all included. The administrative fee would come out of that $91,000. So, yes, go ahead. I had Sherry Heine with the chamber.
Good afternoon, everyone, Madam Chair and committee members. So we are ready to ramp it up. So it was put on pause so that you could do the extended. We needed to open it up. So just to kind of take you back in history, Prescott Cares was put on pause so that you could check all the other boxes so that we could accept these next 2 applicants that were there so that we could get those monies expended. Plus, throughout this whole process, these dollars, the way HUD's been changing the rules, and so we've been closely following those changes. And I think back in May, we were here saying that we would be ready to bring Prescott Cares back. And I do believe the other 2 applicants would still fall under that whole administrative piece that we're working with.
That's correct.
In regards to all of that. So we're totally prepared to bring the program back. We do believe that there are still some folks there that are still struggling from it, and we'll take a look at that. But also moving forward, we can accept more projects like these as well because it's all opened up. So I think that's kind of what we're looking at right now for that piece. But our marketing is ready to go. I have so many folks, that have been in contact asking for these programs and such. So we would be ready to ramp it back up. All the infrastructure's in place.
Thank you for that clarification.
Any other questions?
Sandy?
Thank you, Ms. Chair. Ms. Sherry?
Yes, ma'am.
So we were with Prescott Cares for the homeowners. It was a $5,000 limit, correct?
Yes.
With this additional money, have we given any thought to maybe increasing that?
Thank you, Sandy, for bringing it up, Madam Chair and committee. I think that was something that we all dabbled with. We started with only 5,000, and I think the business community part, 5,000 wasn't enough to go through the paperwork because the paperwork is quite extensive, and so it may make sense to go to a $10,000 cap if the committee was open to that, and maybe that's something that could be added and voted on as well. But I do agree the 5,000 was limiting for the economic part of it. So you may want to keep the individual at 5 and the economic part at 10. If we didn't discuss that, but we discussed opening it up to a larger amount. I think you guys kind of recommended that in the beginning, but then we were so unsure of the program that I think at that time it was suggested to keep it at 5,000 cap.
Thanks, Sherry. Just a thought, being in the industry and working with that, and for further discussion with my fellow members, almost the $5,000 for homeowner repairs is nothing. And maybe we have conversation about even looking at increasing that up to 8,000, because what I've seen come through is deplorable. It's sad. And we have a lot of community that needs help.
Yeah.
So just something that we could discuss today, maybe. Thank you, Sherry.
Thank you.
All right. So this has been discussed. Are we going to look at raising that level today, or is that going to be another meeting?
That would be another meeting. Again, it opened a discussion today,
Okay.
as you guys are doing, and just for clarification, a little bit more what this meeting is, and I think it's either go vote to move forward with the 2 applicants for March, or possibly open it back up. And those are kind of the two choices. The one thing I would say about the existing applicants is I've already talked to HUD to make sure the tiebacks to COVID and pandemic, that their projects were credible projects, and I got the go ahead with those 2 projects. So I wanted to make sure that was heard.
All right.
Thank you, Chair. So, Mr. McGinnis, the $91,000 for the minor home improvement program, at what point on the timeline do we see, when will those funds, when would they be distributed in a manner that we agree upon?
Well, I would say the next meeting, if I can put it on the meeting agenda for a move at action to vote on raising that amount, and it's kind of will all fit together. Hopefully, as we're moving forward with the other applicants, that I can do it in one shot here, one contract, and with Prescott Cares with the chamber, and it'll be pretty smooth.
I like smooth.
Yeah, I do too.
And we expect that from you. So that's taken care of. We're going to vote today. I see that Polera is here. U.S. Votes is not. Would we like a quick presentation from Polera, or is that over and done and we look for a motion?
I would say it's up to you guys. It's kind of over and done. They did their presentation, but I thought it was great that they were here. As a refresher, any questions about their project, Sydney Brown's here to answer those questions. So.
A couple additional details to share if that works for the Madam Chair.
Please come up. Thank you.
Thanks again, everyone, for the opportunity. We're just delighted to be invited back. We all spoke earlier. We spoke earlier when I came to present, and I just want to share a couple of quick caveats with you. The numbers have increased greatly from what we applied for. We said we'd serve probably 250 community members. It's closer to 400 now. So I think some of that was our tracking information, and I think the great majority of it is how great the need is. I won't bore you with any other facts and figures like that, but I did bring Robin Valdivia with me today. Robin is our Director of Residential Services at Polara Health. And, you know, sometimes when we have these conversations about dollars and cents and numbers and projects, that we kind of forget the people that are involved in it all. So I asked Robin to quickly come and share a story about a person who's been touched by this program. So with your okay, I would love to have her come up to the mic and share that with you.
I think that'd be fine.
Hi, can you guys hear me okay? I'm a little soft-spoken.
We just need your name for records.
My name is Robin Valdivia, Director of Residential Services for Polara Health. I just wanted to mention a couple things before I tell you guys a little bit about a client that sticks out in my head for some reason. I don't know why he does, but there's several other clients too. I started out as a case manager. I also worked at our crisis stabilization unit as a social worker, and then on to the director of residential. And so I know a lot of the people that have come through the program, and there are definitely people that stick in my mind that they would probably be dead if they didn't come and get the help that they needed. I think that we do a very good job in the program. We do lose some, but I think we've seen some great successes. One particular client that sticks out for me is he's been homeless in the community for many, many years, and he's not able to work. He used to work, used to have a job, had a house, and he got in a skateboard accident, and he lost his leg because he wasn't able to take care of himself properly. And he's an alcoholic, and he would come to the CSU several times. And then when we took him into our program, he came in, he asked for an extension. He was there for over 90 days, almost 4 months. So our program is 30 to 90 days. But we kept him there until we could safely discharge him to one of our homes, our what we call a berth. And he's there now. He's getting ready to discharge, actually, safely. He's got a new prosthetic. He's been able to take care of himself medically, where he couldn't before. He's having some difficulty with the prosthetic, so we're keeping him to try to help him to learn that, because that's what they do. They learn how to take care of their ADLs, their everyday living needs. And he's almost there. And we're talking years of struggle, and he's done this in about a year's time with us. So I just wanted to mention that, and there's several others that I could tell you about, but he really sticks out in my mind. Thank you.
A success story.
Yes.
All right. For this motion, questions from any? All right. So we need a motion.
That is correct.
So moved. I make a motion that we approve the request.
In a second.
Is that enough?
Yeah, I have a slide. I was trying to get to the slide that
I
had
second that motion.
the slide is down. Oh, there it is. No, I got it. Here it is. There
right.
it is. So we can read.
Tom,
just
I'm
like that.
going to have you read that.
And it's right behind you too, Tom.
Behind you too. If you can't see that, it's behind you.
Okay, move to approve the allocation of Prescott Cares program funds of U.S. vets in the amount of $117,000 for U.S. vets and $50,000 for Polara.
quite the number, but is that close enough, or should we give it the 117, 924, 74, Tom?
Yeah, I'll amend the motion to 117, 924, and 74 cents for U.S. vets, and 50,000 even for Polera Health.
All right, we got that motion out. I need a second, and I believe Deborah Miller
Yep, I will second that motion.
was second. Discussion. All those in favor, aye, raise your hand. Looks like it's unanimous of those two issues. Next.
All right. The next item is minor home repair. In the last meeting, the committee requested a regular update on this program. Another reason why Sherry Heine is here. Since we start just reading off the slide here, 150 inquiries, and it's just getting busier and busier from what I understand as phone calls go. And inquiries, 17 individuals have applied, 8 have qualified. 6 projects have been completed. 1 is currently being amended, and 1 project is currently active. Started out with a little bit over 50,000. We have expended actual amount of $30,270.18, and the existing projects were still pending about 15,000 going out. So we're already, did you have something, Sherry? Thank you, Sherry.
Madam Chair and committee members, thank you. Sherry Heine with the Prescott Chamber of Commerce. The remaining 5,000, as we discussed, is actually spent on project as well. So we do have, that's that one that we're amending. One of the situations that we have with these programs is that when we start to look into fixing one problem, we get another problem. So we've been very active with amending those because you can't fix this without that. So that other remaining is already accounted for, will be for to finalize the projects.
Hold on a minute, Sandy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It says 17 projects have been applied for with 8 actual qualifiers. What happened to the others, and what can we do to get them qualified, or is the paperwork so tightly put together that they can't qualify?
They have to qualify through the HUD specifications. So they did not qualify because they may have made too much money and or other, and that's usually the case, is that they don't qualify because they don't fit the bill, if you will, if I can fit the HUD application process.
Is it possible, and this is probably asking way too much, but it would be so educational to see a spreadsheet, i.e. didn't qualify income too high, didn't qualify for whatever reasons you're running into. I would find that extremely interesting for this overall program.
A lot of it is confidential, so I can't share that. I'm supposed to keep it confidential. But I can share with you that's why they're not qualifying. If they all qualified, we wouldn't have enough money for them. We'd have to deny them.
So it's pretty much income-based.
It is, and it's through the HUD process.
Got it.
Yep.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Yep. Thank you. But I am happy to, I don't know if I can. We'd have to double check. We will double check on that, Sandy, to see if.
The data?
The data. I'm pretty sure we have to keep it confident.
Maybe speak to categories.
Yeah. So we'll take a look at it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I know that we get a lot of calls from Prescott Valley, properties that happen to be in the county, that look like they're in Prescott but are actually in the county. So a lot of folks that aren't from Prescott.
Chair, we have another question. Deborah Miller.
It's more of a comment of thank you, Sherry, for everything you and the chamber have done to make this successful in getting the dollars to the community. And that was the biggest concern I think all of us had, was ensuring the funds got into this community and not just sat in a pot somewhere. So thank you.
It's been a wonderful program. I will share with you today we had 2 inspections. And today one of our residents has hot water, a water heater, because of this program. And so, I mean, it just, and another one has a handicap ramp and handicap accessible bathrooms. So, and that's just for today. And we've shared other success stories as well. But Sandy's correct that there's not enough out there, and the prices are rising. We are in a situation where we are looking at some of the stuff is coming in over $5,000. So I'm seeking other programs, trying to find other dollars to help match that, so that we can keep these minor repairs up and at 'em.
Thanks, Sherry. Mike, so we're looking at another meeting to decide this 91,000, is that correct?
That's correct.
Any information you would be able to get out to us for reading-wise, so when we come in for that meeting, we know what we're going to vote on, what we're going to do?
Absolutely. I'll make sure I'll disseminate what I find.
I think that would help everybody, and it sort of sounds like members are willing to kick that up a little bit.
Okay.
Thank
That's
you.
great.
Sandy, you're done.
Thank you, Chair.
Okay.
So that's taken care of. Looks like you've got some updates for us.
I have some quick updates here. Here are pictures of the ADA trail at the Community Nature Center. Okay, which is, I went out there last week. Was it last week? No, maybe. Yeah, it was last week. And it's getting close to completion. Was going to open it up for a quick discussion, talk with Tom about maybe setting up a date for the committee to go out there and check it out. You know, what works. So, Tom, did you have any input on that? A good
Yes,
day, good time?
I've been in touch with Ellen Basher, and she's available just about every day next week at 8:30. And I'd like to invite anybody that can attend to come and see that facility. As you know, this is an ADA acceptable facility, and it's one of two within the city limits of Prescott. So this is a real big thing, and I think you want to see what's going on. And as you know, Ellen is really good at describing things. So is there any, first of all, who would like to attend? That's great. Does anybody have a preference date? We could do it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. What would be a preferred date?
Why don't you get together with them and come up with that?
Okay, I'll do that. Right after this meeting.
Right.
I'll do that.
I think that'd be easier
Mark,
for
will you be
everybody.
able to come too?
If it were not the week before school starting, I would be able to make it, but it's probably my busiest
What are
week
you
of the
talking
entire year. Yeah, school starts week after next.
So you'll get back with us with a date
Vacation.
and a time.
I'll get back with it. Yeah, I'll get back with Mike, and he can send out the date and time for everybody.
I can do that.
And thank you, ladies.
Also, there's a ribbon cutting ceremony, an official ribbon cutting ceremony for the trail. It is August 10th, 4:30 to 5:30 p.m. The annual action plan, an update on where we're at. It's still processing with HUD. I'm hoping shortly we'll get the final go-ahead, the final specific amount of what we're getting, and then we can start moving forward with all the projects and activities for this program year. And the final update is a needs workshop. Looking at October, just like last year, to do a needs workshop for the community. And I'll, probably in the next meeting, I'll get more feedback from the committee on who should be there. But I have a Rolodex of a lot of the folks that were there last year, so reaching out to them first. And that is all I have.
So with that, any questions, updates, what you're doing? Councilman Tenney, you're very busy.
That is true, but I'm really glad to be here and show my support for the great work that Michael's doing and each of you are doing. I really appreciate this. And it's neat to see the impact that it has in our community, hear some specific stories of things, and hear from Sherry as well, the different families that somebody with hot water. My water's been hot at my house all the time for the last couple of weeks, but if people haven't had hot water, that's nice that they've been able to do that.
Well, I think we all appreciate you making the time to come. You've come to everyone we've had. Thank you very much. We know your schedule's getting more and more so, but you only may have a couple more, and you're going to be able to do your next full-time job.
That's right. Well, it's my pleasure very much to be able to associate with you and see the great work being done here. And thank you. I mean, just the volunteer time warms my heart, but the great things that this committee helps affect in the community is especially heartwarming. Thank you so much, each of you.
Okay, Michael, then I guess if that's it, we can see us adjourned at 2:06.
Nice.